What's good, everybody? I'm BPC, and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Well, Stipe Miocic was last seen in the octagon against Francis the Predator Ngannou at UFC 260, in which the bout was for the Heavyweight Championship of the world. Well, it didn't go Stipe's way as he lost the title via a second-round knockout. Now, prior to the fight, there was so much promotion going on about how Stipe Miocic is the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division. And there was a case for that. When you think about it, he did have the most heavyweight title defenses at 4. He had the most consecutive heavyweight title defenses at 3. He also had the heavyweight record for most strikes at 361. He also had the heavyweight record for most post-fight bonuses at 9, and he had the UFC record for all weight classes for total head strikes at 330. So like I said, there was a good case for making it that he is the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, if not the greatest heavyweight of all time. Now, prior to the fight, UFC President Dana White did state that Jon Jones was going to get the winner of Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. Now, was he anticipating that Stipe would get the victory? Or was Dana White trying to prevent Stipe from getting the rematch? If you recall, light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier defied the odds and went up to the heavyweight division and beat Stipe Miocic for the crown. He shocked the world by scoring a first-round knockout. But but Daniel passed over Stipe at first for the rematch. He actually stated that he wanted to face off against Brock Lesnar. Now, obviously, considering, Daniel Cormier's age and getting up there, it was probably getting close for him to retire, and he wanted the biggest money possible fight. And that's probably why he chose the whole Brock Lesnar situation. But unfortunately, Brock Lesnar decided to retire, and therefore, Daniel Cormier agreed to the rematch with Stipe Miocic. Well, Stipe, took advantage of the situation, and in the second fight, he scored a 4th-round TKO, reclaiming his championship belt. And it was pretty clear that the trilogy was going to happen. Well, in that third fight, Stipe Miocic got a unanimous decision victory, securing the championship belt, and continuing on the streak. Now, my question here is this deja vu? Because in the post-fight press conference, Dana White said Derek Lewis deserves the next title shot. But he did state that Jon Jones could have it if he picks up the phone and calls in. But he said nothing about Stipe Miocic getting his rematch. Now, I wouldn't say at the end of the day, I should say Francis said at the end of the day, it's not necessary for him to have the rematch with Stipe Miocic, but he would do it. I'm thinking, Francis wants the money fight. He also wants the glory of being the first person to beat Jon Jones, because that's obviously what was on his mind when they asked about it. Now, Stipe Miocic is not going to be available for the next 2 months because he has a 60-day medical suspension. But he did come out of the hole, and he stated on Instagram, "I'm okay, the fall wasn't graceful." Now, what he's obviously referring to is when he fell down, his leg was underneath him, and it looked pretty nasty. But in the comment, he stated that he was unconscious, so you can't blame him, right? He also, I'm paraphrasing by the way, he stated that he felt like he let his friends, he let his family down, He also stated that losing is just part of the game, and he also talked about how he deviated from the game plan, in which he went into a little bit of detail with that. He stated like Francis was getting tired, he was getting a little bit looser, a little more wilder with his stuff, but it was going according to plan, according to him, and it did look like, towards the end of the first round into the second round, Stipe was doing a lot better than he was in the first round. Now, Stipe finished it off by stating that he was going to welcome his son into the world this summer. So I guess that takes him off the books for the rematch, because Francis has stated he would like to fight this summer. I guess he wants to collect that paycheck now that he's getting a percentage of the pay-per-view buys, and his paycheck has gone up for the base pay. But he should, give Stipe Miocic that rematch come January, February, or March, in 2022. I think he greatly, deserves that at the end of the day. That's just how I feel. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with me, or do you think that Stipe has had his run and he doesn't deserve a title fight? And if so, who do you think he should fight next? Go to competitiveorigins.com, type in promo code MMA115 so you can get 10% off this Competitive Origins, whatever it takes t-shirt. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. I'm BPC, and remember, you've been competing since conception, whether you're competing against yourself or others. Competitive Origins.